everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the latest edition of FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast. I am Tim Parmeter, founder and CEO of FranCoach and your podcast host. Today, we are going to be talking about one very tiny little topic within franchise ownership, and really but it's actually maybe the biggest driver and most important thing that we talk to folks about to see if they should own a franchise, and then also help them once they get started with one. So that's coming up in a second. First, as always, a quick reminder of who we are. FranCoach is a national search firm dedicated to working with individuals like yourself interested in owning a franchise. We're partnered with well over 600 of the top franchisors in the country, spanning 70 industries. Number one goal is to help get you properly educated on franchise ownership to determine if this is the right path. If so, we're going to help you find your absolute best fit. So that is us. We have talked in the past. In fact, then there was a whole episode, and it comes up a lot throughout all of the ones we have. The number one reason people become a franchise owner, it's not money. It is the word control. Almost everyone we work with, when we are kind of vetting this out to figure out what franchise people should own and what's the best thing for them, we're literally going to talk about why. Why are we looking at this? And everybody will use the word control. Most of the time, they're going to specifically say the word control, but it's about control, right? And so, but it can be so many different things. And again, it goes back to the search, in that there is not one best franchise. There's not a top or hottest industry or niche or whatever. And I cannot stress this enough. Anyone that is telling you that there is one thing out there, they either don't know what the hell they're talking about, or they are trying to sell you something. Neither of those are really going to be beneficial to you. There is not a best. There is what is your best. Franchise ownership is an incredibly individualized and personalized process. What's going to be best for you is not going to be what's best for the next person, and it might be the worst thing, right, for them. We tell our clients all the time, this is your opportunity to be, and you are really actually required to be selfish as we go through this, right? Ever since we're kids, don't be selfish, right? Or sometimes it's the, you get your mom yelling at you, and it's not just your name, it's your full name with the middle name, right? So don't be selfish. This is your time to be selfish, because again, you are the one getting your butt out of bed every day to go run your business. We need it to be ideal for you. So for folks looking at this, there's some element of control that they don't have, or they wish they had more of. Time, control over it, the freedom, the flexibility. If I am going to work my ass off, I would rather do it for myself than someone else. I want to control over, again, the harder I work, again, this is where the money comes in, the more money I can have to create things like generational wealth, perhaps be able to leave a legacy for our kids down the road, something like that. And if you're hearing those things and there's a nod up and down, because, hey, that applies to you, okay, then we're here. So, but why is this important, right? Why do we need to understand what the why is? Well, this is going to come up in a handful of different things. And so if you try to think of this from a different example, if I sit here and I go, and sadly, this is true over the last 6 months, like me personally, I've gained like 5 or 6 pounds. Well, it's not hard to figure out why. I eat like my 11-year-old child, and I've gotten a little lax on my exercise. Used to be really good about that. It's a little bit less. And I can come up with all the reasons why and all the excuses why it's gotten less, but it's a fact. So now, is 5 pounds enough pain for me to go, holy crap, man, I got to get my stuff together, right? Clearly not, because I haven't done it yet, right? But all of a sudden, if that 5 is 25, okay, like right now, my 5 pounds of my clothes still fit. And frankly, like, this is how I dress all day. Like, this is me fancy, right? So there's not enough pain for me to truly make that dedication and that change. But again, what if it's 25 or 30 pounds? What if I go to the doctor and just way back in the day, this did happen where literally went to the doctor and they said, like, you have to make changes or else. And it was literally right as my first kid was born. Like, I'm literally in the hospital holding the baby, like on day one, and getting the results from the doctor. Right. Like, I'm kind of looking down at this kid going, I don't know what the hell to do with this kid, but I want to figure it out. Right. And so that was the pain. That was my why, to basically get my act together. Right. So you have to have those type of things. And then when you are going back and you're trying to make, in that case, some lifestyle changes, well, man, this is hard. Yeah, no kidding. These changes are hard, but why am I doing this? Oh yeah, that little, like the little thing I was holding and spawned somehow, right? That was the pain and the driver to kind of make that change, right? And so you have to be able to, especially for folks that are working in the corporate world or have been, even if you're in a search, you're still brainwashed into, I got to get a job. I got to get a job. It's what I've always done. I got to get a job. They're going to pay me. Yay, they're going to pay me. They're going to pay you until they don't. Okay, so let's just be really upfront about that. But even if they're paying you, are you happy? Or do you have control over the things that you want? Is there enough pain to be able to look and make this change? Okay. Hey everyone, I wanted to take a quick break from our podcast to tell you about our amazing friends at Entrepreneur. If you're looking to become a franchisee or simply learn more about business ownership, and guys, let's be honest, you're listening to the Franchising 101 podcast, so we know you have some interest in this. And I really encourage you to go to entrepreneur.com to check out all of their great content and resources. Seriously, Entrepreneur has everything, all the way from a bookstore to the best podcasts, webinars, and videos, plus information on upcoming events and the latest articles that seriously, they cover all aspects of franchising and business ownership. If you're having trouble deciding which franchise is right for you, start with Entrepreneur's renowned Franchise 500 ranking, which highlights the best franchises of 2022. For 45 years and counting now, Entrepreneur has been and continues to be the most widely recognized and respected authority in the franchise market. Digital and print subscriptions are available, so you never miss out on anything. So seriously, what are you waiting for? Go to entrepreneur.com right now and learn more. The why is then kind of the motivator to do it. And everybody listening right now, you're not just listening for the heck of it because, oh my gosh, I love hearing Tim talk about random crap about franchising. There's a little bit of pain in your life that's made you look, I wonder about a franchise if this is going to help me get there. Okay. So it's kind of that motivator for you, for business ownership to even see if it is. So kudos to you for getting this far. But it's also that motivation on the daily, right? And so you have to kind of figure out what those things are for you. What is your why? Is it time? Is it the freedom and flexibility? Is it the control over making the decisions versus somebody above you in that job that you're like, man, I could have totally done this better? Is it money? Is it wealth? Is it kind of that generational wealth thing? You can build that as a franchise owner. Is it the legacy? Is it things for your kids just to be able to learn, hey, look what mom and or dad have done, right? They took this, quote, risk and are building a business for themselves and for us. And I will tell you with my kid, like, he sees the world differently because he sees things also partly through the lens of me being a business owner. Everyone around him and his family, we have, there's educated, professional, kind of working people, and that may be the thing for him. He may decide to go learn a trade. He may, literally his joke the other day is he wanted to be a fire watcher. Like, maybe we should set the bar a little bit higher. Though he did clarify that was just a summer job when he's in college. So got it, dude. But it does help him kind of see the other path of, hey, if I want to do something on my own, there is a way to do that. Whether it's, follow dad's footsteps, probably not. But is it something that we can create a different business model for him down the road? So whatever your why is with that, you've got to understand it. And then kind of why the why matters is, as a business owner, franchise or startup or whatever, I got news for you. It's not easy. There are going to be hard days and there are going to be things that go wrong. And so if you understand your why, it is going to help you and allow you to kind of push through when crap goes wrong, because it's gonna. And this is where we've used the acronym FSO a lot, which in franchising also can have a negative connotation about some groups that are out there. But really what we talk about is FSO is figure stuff out. And again, if you don't have your why, then why the hell am I going to figure it out? I'm just going to quit. Right. And so understanding that is going to be incredibly hard, or when it gets hard, and it's going to, that why and those drivers and those motivators are going to get you through it. Okay. And with the why, I always kind of think about being able to set goals. We had Pat Highland on from Neighborly Brands a couple of weeks ago, and he was actually really here to talk about a book that he wrote. But in the book, there's really some exercises that are kind of driven to, yes, the why a little bit, but really kind of goal setting. And some people are great at it. I'm a little suspect, or I'll set kind of vague things, but really getting better at kind of setting those SMART goals, which, as I say that, I'm like trying to think, remember exactly what that is. But the specific and measurable and something, right? So again, just versus saying, yeah, I want to lose, 10 pounds. Okay. How, right? It's I always like we're equated to an outline. Like, okay, we got the the top thing, but what are the bullet points and the subheadings and all those things underneath it? We've got to understand kind of the why and the how, right? So those goals are going to help you with this. And I think in particular, there's been a handful of things that have come up just professionally and personally for me over the last probably month that have even kind of driven me to taking this time. And I think when we get around the holidays and Thanksgiving and towards the end of the year, it's a good time for reflection. And so I've been kind of doing that from a professional standpoint with FranCoach as we grow and some of the other things that we have going on. But me personally, I'm at the limit of how much weight I want to gain. I've got to get myself much more disciplined. I've got to remember the why. I'm getting freaking old, right? I've got to be able to take better care of myself with this. So I think it's a great time to do that and understand, yes, give thanks because it's Thanksgiving time. That's what we're supposed to do. But I think it's also okay to think about, well, what might be missing? How could I be more thankful next year if I had this, and this? And again, if you don't have any of those things, awesome, kudos. You probably shouldn't be listening to this unless you're just super bored. But when you have that pain and there are some things missing, we always want to be thankful of what we have. And I'll be the first to tell you, sometimes I forget to do that or I don't do it enough. But focus on the missing and what's kind of missing and kind of the why. And so what I would kind of like almost like challenge everybody to do is some homework. And since, I have complete control over everything that everyone out there listening is doing, is this mind control thing that I've learned. You don't even realize I'm doing it, but is take a minute or two. And if you are thinking about franchise ownership, which again, you're listening to this, so you are in some fashion, is to really take a few minutes and write down why. If you are going to own a franchise, what's your why? And again, everybody, it's some form of, don't just write down control. Well, Tim said number one reason is control over what? And why are those things important to you? Control over more time or freedom and flexibility. Why is that important to you? Well, that freedom and flexibility allows me to, make sure I'm not missing anything with the kids or spend more time with my family or like be able to work out more or travel or whatever I want. Again, this is individualized and personalized for you. It's your chance to be selfish. So it's not control, it's control over what, and then why is that important to you, right? And then think about over let's turn that into goals. Over the next 3 to 5 years, what do you want? Where do you want to be sitting then? Right. And we can go even shorter term, but if you become a business owner, and again, I am guilty of being lax on this sometimes. So I'm giving you homework. I'm going to be doing the same homework. So, if you owned a business, what do we want that to look like? 3 years, 5 years? The part that's really uncomfortable for folks is an exit strategy. Like, those are things we don't think about in the corporate world as an exit strategy. Like, oh, like they're going to pay me until they don't. They're going to pay me until I quit and go somewhere else. But with a business, you get a chance to sell that to someone else. You don't get to sell your job to someone else. Maybe, again, kids can come in and take over. Oh, you're the director of blah, blah, blah at Corporation X. You don't get to just hand that to your kid when you're ready. Like, you get to do that when your name's on the wall, right? And so as a franchise owner, your name essentially is on the wall, right? And so you get to do those things. So take some time. Like, it's not all about eating freaking turkey and whatever over the next week or so, or next few days or so. And let's be honest, we all want to find a few minutes to like slip away and avoid the family. Because who really wants to spend all day with a crazy uncle? And if you don't have one, let me help you. It's you. Okay. So, take some time, really write down. There's something very powerful. And again, kind of plug Pat, our pal, Pat Highland, because he kind of motivated me a little bit to get back to good old pen and paper and writing things down. There's something powerful about doing that. It becomes real. It's one thing when it's bouncing around in my head. It's another thing when I write it down. Write down your why, right? If those things feel strong and they feel like, okay, this is empowering me to take that next step, well then, like, come on, guys, you know how to reach us. FranCoach.net, franchising101podcast.net. That is what we're here for. Maybe franchise ownership isn't for you, and really jotting down the why and kind of what those goals are will help you realize you're on the right path. Awesome. But if not, what are you going to do about it? Right. You only get to sit and complain so long when you know what some of the next steps are. And again, talking to our team is just talking to our team. It's learning more to see if it's the path. So I just want to take a few minutes today to really kind of dive harder into the why and why it is important and kind of the how we figure it out. So that's a little bit there. I hope everybody has a fantastic holiday. Again, FranCoach.net, franchising101podcast.net. Don't forget, every Friday night, our hopefully improving television show called the Franchising 360 show, Biz TV, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. It's there for you as well. Thank you guys always. I am super thankful for you guys for being loyal podcast listeners. And it's been fantastic to get to know all of you over the years. We've got a couple more podcasts coming in December of people just like you that were listening, that worked with us, that became clients. So hope you'll check that out as well. Have a great holiday. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.